All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Erika from Just So You Know. And I'm doing something a little different with these next set of videos. As y'all know, I've been putting out some videos discussing the archaeological data relating to Jesus and Horus and their similarities and not similarities. But I thought it would be a good idea to come along and have a discussion with a fellow colleague. This is Chris, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Y'all know I'm not good with formals, but Chris and I work together in Egypt. We are both PhD students, almost candidates. So close. Almost candidates at the Lanier Center for Archaeology at Lipscomb University. But I'm going to let Chris introduce himself to you guys. Chris, take it away.
All right. Well, again, my name is Chris Jenkins. I'm a student here at the Lanier Center for Archaeology. I got my start in archaeology at a small school in Michigan called Andrews University. And then I went on to do some Egyptological training at Yale University. And from there, that's how I ended up here at the Lanier. And I'm glad to be here.
Have you studied some Middle Egyptian?
I have. I did a year of Middle Egyptian at Yale, and then I did another here at the Lanier.
I just started my first semester of Middle Egyptian with the University of Glasgow. I hope I'm saying it right. It's in Ireland, but It's online. Anyway, crazy.
Yeah, that language is something else.
Crazy. But man, I just thought, one, I'm tired of the crazies on the social media not knowing stuff, and they'll be like, well, you ain't read the hieroglyphs yourself. And I was like, you know what? Fair. So I'm going to learn it.
Hey, that's good. That's good. You got to educate yourself and come back.
Listen, I was like, you got me. Hey, you got me. All right. But anyway, so no, Middle Egyptian is not for the weak.
No.
But you did 2 years, so you real fancy.
I mean, I took it 2 years, and then the second year, I picked up on the things that went over my head the first year. And so you're never an expert. You're still learning.
I'm still doing Hebrew. That was my jam, was Hebrew. So
Right.
No, Chris, I don't know how familiar you are with social media. I do Just So You Know, and I try and engage with people in the comment sections. And one of the things that I am frequently getting in my comment section, whether I'm talking about Jesus or not, I mean, really. Well, Jesus is just a retelling of Horus, the Egyptian god Horus. It's just retelling it. And I kept hearing it so much that I was like, it must be something to this. It must be really close. Let me check this out. Oh my God. The way they say it so hard. They got
They're
charts.
passionate.
Oh my gosh.
They're passionate about
charts and recreations. And I was like, man, okay. And I went to go check it out. And Chris, it was not, I say this in my other video, I was actually disappointed with how close it was not.
Underwhelming.
I was like, what? I was really ready to put up a fight and defend, no. But I was like, do they not know there's data, or you can just make up stuff? How are we navigating this? How are people just getting on social media and just regurgitating this?
I think that people are eager for there to be alternative point of views. And so what they'll do is they'll latch on to this one alternative theory, and then they'll run with it, even though the theory itself comes from a scholar from the 19th century who no one agreed with. He made this one comment. No one picked it up, not even the critics of Christianity, not even the famous atheists of the 19th century picked up on this guy's view.
I thought it was a truth they were hiding from us.
Right. But no one picked it up. And then now people are beginning to write on it again. The same people who write titles like the Mystery of the Sphinx Decoded or stars and weird things like that. And it's very fringe scholar. I dare call it scholarship. It's very fringe stuff, and it's
Well, I read a book. I don't want to like be a hater, but there is a book about Jesus and Horus, a recent within the past 50 years anyway. And I said, well, let me read this book. Maybe this baby's got something I missed because I'm flawed. He, what he did was he combined the deities. So if there was a similarity in a deity, and sometimes you do see in Egyptian religion where they combine them, right? He would take that combination and be like, see, this is the writers of the Jesus narratives taking from the Egyptian god. Like, he would combine Horus and Osiris and be like, oh, the resurrection. Like, and we'll talk about it, but I was just like, you can't. You combining them. That's not even Horus's narrative.
Yeah, that's not even his anymore.
Like okay, but and that's how his whole book was, and just talking in circles, and I was like, I would have wasted my life to read that book, but I wanted to get like down to it. So really, what I ended up doing was looking at like the artifacts that specifically talk about Horus and his narratives. And I do say in my video, like, it's not like the Bible where we have one source for the one deity. You got to, like, put it together from coffin text and pyramid text and statues and whatever. And what I end up doing was looking at the conception and birth of Horus, and then the death and resurrection, and bye-bye. Right, resurrection, big quotes. My husband does like this. He goes, like, resurrection, that's put good. It on there. Like, so the conception of Horus. Wait a minute, just in case y'all don't know, because the Jesus one is easy. Let's just, the gospel accounts of the Bible say that Mary was a virgin. The angel came, said, hey, you're going to get pregnant, Mary. Like, how? I ain't been with nobody. Basically, I'm a virgin. Bible even says she's a virgin. The Holy Spirit falls on her. It's just really like, it's like the mystery of it. She gets pregnant, and that is her conception. Right. Let's talk about Horus.
Okay. Horus.
First off, was his mama a virgin?
No.
What?
Not at all.
Why would you say that?
I mean, nowhere in the texts that talk about the origin story of Horus is Isis a virgin. There's probably one where she's not pregnant before Osiris's death, but she uses magic and impregnates herself with the phallus of Osiris. That
is a scientific fancy way of saying his phallus. This is for my people because I remember when I first got in archaeology, I didn't know the term phallus.
Neither did I.
It's a male sexual organ. There you go. Sorry. Chris is so educated, guys.
It was detached, by the way.
It was detached. She reassembled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Frankenstein, this dude back together.
Yeah.
A little bit of magic, and she got pregnant that way. And I feel like that kind of disqualifies you for being a virgin at that point.
And also, she was married.
Yeah, she was married to Osiris.
Who was her brother, BTW.
That too.
And there are like love poems that talk about their intimacy. So anyway, I don't think Isis was a virgin.
Not at all.
Okay. All right. Oh, and you know what? Since you know Middle Egyptian a little bit I know a little bit. I looked at the hieroglyphs that spell out her name. Chris, I read on the social medias or saw on the social medias that her real name is the original of Mary, that the hieroglyphs really just spell out the Egyptian form of Mary. I don't know. Have you read that in any of your Egyptological studies?
No.
Okay.
Because the Egyptian word for Isis is like Iset. And the hieroglyphs, it's like a chair
Right.
and like the upside down bread basket.
Right.
Looks like a half circle, upside down half circle.
Which makes a T.
Yeah, which makes the T sound. And so I don't know where the connection to Mary comes from. There's actually a word in Egyptian for that sounds similar to Mary. It's Mary, which means beloved or to love, things like that. But there's no.
But a lot of
connection.
people use that in
Yeah.
their dedications and
Yeah.
Right.
So like it'd be like Mary Amun, the beloved of Amun, or whom Amun loves, depending on the grammar and all that good stuff.
And for my haters, because they will come, he has studied Middle Egyptian. That's why I asked him that, because I was like, they're going to be like, did you read that yourself? Like, people be really aggressively angry.
yeah.
And I don't even be on here.
Because you're coming for their beliefs.
I don't, you can have it. I'm just like, here's the data. This, people just put stuff out there like that. So, I mean, I thought that about Mary, but I only been in Middle Egyptian for one semester. So you had did it longer.
Been a little bit longer.
Okay, so she conceives by magically putting together back her deceased brother husband's body. And interacts with her deceased brother husband's body, which, by the way, he is still dead. It's
much.
just his member. Because Horus later on, and I can't get too ahead of myself, Horus brings him back to life, but whatever. But anyway, he's still dead, but she brings his body part back to life.
Yeah.
When I look at the conceptions, Chris, just the conceptions, we haven't got to the birth. Conceptions.
There's no parallel there. There is not.
No, they're both women.
Yes.
But
Yes,
one's a
they are.
deity, one's a human. Like, what are we doing? This is the crazy world of social media.
It is.
This is the crazy world of social media. And I have talked to a number of my colleagues. One of the reasons I do, just so you know, is because the crazies run social media.
Yeah, they really do.
And they
are
put
the
this
loudest.
stuff, right? They put this stuff out here. And the scholars like yourself, we typically not one, because, man, let me tell you something about working on your PhD. You are reading 40 hours a week, and you're just trying to survive life. So who has time for social media? But anyway, I digress. Most scholars are not on the social media.
No.
They out here doing the good work. So the crazies run the social media. The crazies say that Isis' name is Mary, and that she
And
was a
they're the
virgin.
ones who have the platform. No one's coming to our seminars. Like they're on.
No.
They're getting their information on TikTok. They're getting it on Instagram
Yes.
posts, Instagram reels, and we're not there.
No.
I mean, we should be.
We
You
trying.
are,
I'm
which
trying.
is great.
I'm trying.
So that's definitely a platform we need to get into, so we can get like good information out there.
Oh, because it's crazy. Because and I want y'all to see that, and just in the conception alone, we've talked about this data, and we're getting this from Egyptian sources, guys. This isn't, I mean, I didn't translate the, like I know it was coffin text spell 148. That's the one with the lightning, and she finds out she's pregnant, and then like pyramid text. I don't know the numbers by heart. It's on the video. Make sure y'all check it out. But just looking at those, like, I wonder if this will help if we give people these artifacts. Will it change it or no? People just going, you don't
No.
think it'll change it?
No.
Like, I'm not even giving you something I believe. I'm just giving you what the Egyptians said. That won't count?
I don't think so. There's plenty of evidence that the world is round, but people still believe it's flat.
I know. That is so true. Yeah.
So people are gonna believe what they want.
Well, fine. We'll keep fighting. Okay, so that was the conception. Birth.
Okay.
So the birth, I'll start with Jesus because I know that one by heart. Mary's husband, Joseph, but not Jesus's daddy. Mary, Joseph's husband, they go to Bethlehem for a census. They get to Bethlehem. It's probably really booked. That's why there's no room for them in the guest room, not an inn like a hotel. I have another video about that. I want y'all to check that out. But there's no room for them in the guest area, so they end up in the stable area with the animals. And Jesus is born amongst the animals. They place him in the manger, which is like this concrete, not a wood like y'all see, but like a concrete feeding trough. And scene change, angels appear to some shepherds. They are like, hey, he's born. Shepherds like, hey, this seems serious. This is the Erika translation, by the way. Shepherds is like, hey, this is a big deal. Let us go check it out. This is the promised Messiah. They go, they see, they excited, and they share the story. That's the Jesus birth. What say you about Horus's birth?
From what I know, it's not that epic of a entrance into the world. It's just kind of like, and then she got pregnant, and then Horus is born, and then the point is not his birth. The point is who he is in the cosmic battle between Horus and Set, and what Horus means to Egypt. Like he's the god of Egypt. Pharaoh becomes the living personification of Horus, and so his birth isn't like the. I mean, I'm sure they have festivals that they celebrate.
Yeah.
But his birth, they're not going hard for his birth like we do for Christmas and things like that.
Right.
They don't have a Christmas for Horus or anything like that. I mean, they have hundreds of festivals for every aspect of every god and for a number of things. So
Nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy.
It seems like it's mostly the telling of his birth is even just like it's a part of a spell. And it's mostly about the miraculous, he's born,
right?
But then he gets like bitten, and I don't want to jump the story, but anyway, he's just born in Chemis. Am I saying that right? Khemm. It's in the Delta region. Chemis.
Yeah, I'm not
My
sure.
Egyptian pronunciation is so bad. And anyway.
It's okay.
And I know we
I
don't
don't know all the little
we
details.
don't really know. It's just like scholars taking a stab, but I don't know. He's born in a marshy area in some accounts, some spells. Because, Isis was on the run from Seth.
Yes.
Her crazy psycho brother-in-law who killed her husband brother.
He was after her too.
Yeah, he was after her because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on the run. She gets to Chemis, and some things say, and she has him in a marshy area.
So I don't see anywhere any mangers.
Where's the similarities? What part was stolen? What part of the Jesus narrative was stolen, Chris? You are the expert.
I don't know. They probably found some very nuanced detail and then ran with that. That's usually how they do. They take one tiny detail. Oh, he was born. So is Jesus. They're the same. So I honestly don't know where the connection is there. It's I think they're saying that Horus was born on December 25th.
Yeah, they're saying December 25th, but no, Plutarch is the only one who mentions a festival. But even then, he just says like it's a celebration along the winter salt. Like that's it. He like drops a line, but he doesn't. I don't know. That's it. That is it. No coffin text, pyramid text. Wall painting.
Nothing about any winter births or anything like that I know of.
Oh, but on top of that, the Bible don't say nothing about no December 25th either.
That's a good point.
I'm like, what y'all mad about? Neither one, and I say this in my video, like neither one of them say anything about a December 25th.
Right.
So nobody's stealing from nobody because nobody said it.
Yeah, that is a excellent way of putting that. Yeah, no one is arguing this. That's just something silly that we're arguing about today.
It's on the chart that I saw on
It's
social
on
media.
the chart. You didn't get the chart, obviously.
I'm going to bring it to class and see how Dr. Jensen feels about. He's our Egyptologist here. I'm be like, you need to incorporate this chart. He'll be like, You do not need to be a part of this
I'm sure
program.
he'd be enthusiastic to teach
He'll
those
be
charts.
so thrilled. He gets so irritated. But you know what? What's so sad is that when I was looking or doing my research, most of this stuff is the data I found is free on the World Wide Web.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many resources. There's so many books. You can even chat GPT, this whole thing.
Say that again for the people in the back.
You can chat GPT, this whole argument. You can literally type in, is Jesus connected to Horus? And that thing will crank out the most beautiful little article for you, all the arguments and how no one in scholarship at least, is arguing these things. Like it is so available. So I don't understand why people are so latched on.
I don't know. And ChatGPT, if you ask it for sources, it'll give you some
It'll
sources.
give you sources. It'll give you some books to read. And depending on how specific your question is, it'll give you an answer. Like,
really
it's
will.
a very powerful resource. Like,
I don't know. I'm just so tired sometimes. Like, what do we as scholars, how do we help like dispel these narratives when they're not coming to us? They're not going to come to the conferences. And you know what? That's okay. You know, conferences is not everybody's thing, right? But what do we do, I guess, other than, is that it? Is it just us engaging on social media, us interacting with the, I hate layperson, but, like the non-scholar? Like,
your everyday person who's not going to spend 12 years in school learning this stuff.
yeah, but they're going to hear it on social media and run with it. And you don't even have to be a Christian, but to be like, use something like this to dispel Christianity.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's not.
Yeah.
I'd rather just say I don't want to believe, which is fine.
Right.
Hey, I would rather you not, but I don't know. What do you?
There are better arguments out there.
Yeah.
So,
How do you navigate? How do you navigate these conversations? Because you got to be having them.
I'll either avoid them altogether,
Really?
or I just don't have time to engage.
You're right.
Man, if I had $1 for every time someone has asked me my opinion about the pyramids, and I will say, well, there are tombs, and they're like, but like, really? And I'm like, oh man, here we go. And they'll have something to say. My favorite that I've heard so far is that they were power generators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not alien. Not the alien.
Not aliens. This is some Stargate SG-1 type stuff.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's still aliens too.
I don't know. I've heard so many. I don't know. And you are a scholar. You've done all this research, all this work. You're presenting at conferences. But people are going to still tell you that you are wrong and that you don't know.
Yeah. It'll happen.
Like, what would it take? Like, the person on social media that made that chart has more credibility than you, the scholar who's taken Middle Egyptian for 2 years. Like, that's crazy to me.
It's sad. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. I could sit here and, like, in a court case and just show them evidence, just bam, bam, bam on the table.
Yeah.
Be like, this is debunked because of this, and this, and they'd still be like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, but on the Seth Rogen podcast, I heard this.
Seth Rogen. I mostly, you know what, I get the most hate about my Egyptian research from people of my same background, too. They're like, no, you're not getting it from the direct source, as I
What's
tell
the direct
them.
source?
Right. And just a sidebar, because I have to say it, because they'll say, that's European interpretation of Egyptian culture.
Yeah.
And I said to someone, I was like, who broke the Rosetta, who deciphered the Rosetta Stone, don't you? It was a French person. So all textbooks, all classes will be based off the work of that French man. But anyway, I digress. It's just, the journey.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know. So, no, that was the birth, conception. Let's talk about this death and, let me do my husband's name is Lani, y'all. It's air quotes. The resurrection. Jesus dies a brutal death after a false trial. And I try not to go like ratchet with talking about Jesus' trial because it was so messed up. But anyway, horrible trial, horrible lashings. He's 33 years old, goes to the cross, nailed in the hands and in the feet, and dies. He's buried in a borrowed tomb, stays in the tomb. 3 days later, he comes back. Horus
cannot die. Like, that is literally the point of him. He lives forever. His father dies.
Yes.
And he comes back to life.
Because of Horus.
And I see people will try to connect the two to make the argument fit.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the connection between Horus and Jesus,
Yeah.
they're not connected because Horus, literally in their mythology, like if Horus dies, the entire worldview of the Egyptian collapses.
Yeah.
Like he's eternal. He's forever.
Yeah.
When a pharaoh lives, he's the living Horus, and then when he dies, he becomes Osiris, and then the next pharaoh becomes Horus. So like you have this cycle, but Horus is always constant. In the myths, Horus is injured, and he's injured. He has his eye torn out in a battle, and then you have this connection with the sun and the moon. Like one, I can't remember which, but one eye represents the sun and the moon, and the sun, and the other one represents the moon.
Yeah.
So he gets beat up a few times in his stories, but he never dies. And there's never this miraculous resurrection, no 3-day reference or anything that I know
What about
of.
the one when he's a baby or a child? He's small, gets bit by the scorpion.
Okay.
And Isis
The Horus the
brings him
child.
back to life, right?
I don't know if he actually dies.
There is
Like,
debate, right?
He gets bit and he's injured, and she uses magic to heal him.
Right.
So that I know of. There are a lot of versions of Horus's story, and then you also have different versions of Horus himself.
Right.
It's like
Right.
it's like an avatar. You have Horus, and you have Horus the Elder. You have Horus the Child, and like there are so many different versions of Horus.
Right.
So there are a lot of stories out there, but the ones that I know of, he never dies. Like he gets beat up, but never dies.
So the similarity that people are saying is a retelling. Jesus is a retelling of Horus.
It doesn't fit.
And this was just for two major components of the life of Jesus Christ. I didn't do the middle parts because, they'd be like 12 disciples. Just these two major aspects. It's not close.
It's not. It's really not. Like, there are so many other really interesting parallels that exist out there, but these aren't the ones that people are talking about.
I was like, if anybody resurrected, it was Osiris.
Yeah. Yeah.
I-
That's the only resurrection.
He's the main resurrection, and even he's resurrected. He doesn't come back to. He comes resurrected because the God of the other side, or like the dead,
underworld.
Yeah, okay, I was like, you could have used that one. That would have been easier.
But he's still kind of dead. He's alive, but he's kind of dead. Like, you see him, and he's still in his mummy wrap, and he's green. He's a corpse.
Yes, he's always
he's
depicted like
straight up like Frankenstein
Yeah.
down there ruling the underworld, the
Yeah.
Duat. Like, so there's nothing living really about him. Like, he's alive conceptually, but he's like not.
I don't get it, man. I've been just navigating this and trying to be more intentional about giving people this information. Like, even if you still want to believe it, I want to be like, well, the Egyptians did it. So what are you What are we doing? Chris, I'm over it. I'm so over it. I don't know. I wrestle and wrestle really with it, and like I said, I'm always interacting with social media.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I didn't even like social media before I started doing this. I'm not a social media person.
Me neither, but like you tapped into this thing, and I think it is so noble that you did, because somebody needs to do it. I mean, it's not going to be me. I'll get out there and I'll say my nerdy Egyptology stuff, and if anybody gets in my comments is like, "Ooh, Jesus and Horus,"
You just gonna ignore him? Like,
I'm like, okay.
I've gotten to the point now. I entertain it. Like, all right, let's see where this goes.
That's good.
Like,
That's good.
Okay.
I mean, you got to see where people are going, and then the
know-
arguments that they're making, and just to see how easily these arguments unravel with just a
what
fraction
it
of
is.
research.
I'm entertained with how they unravel. I'm like, let's just go for this crazy ride. I wanna see. Are we not entertained? Right. Yeah, but I'm so glad that you agreed to talk with me and dive into this. I think it's so good. One of the things I want to do is help people see scholars like yourself and myself interact with the data, have conversations, because I did a conference in San Diego, and one of the things we told the audience is that most of the time when archaeologists get together, they talk about archaeology. Like they would a football game or other stuff. Be like, hey, did you read that such and such and such? So like, I want to expose people, because I want people to. I don't only want social media scholars. I would love to introduce people to the world of scholarship, like, so they can see that we talk about things and we know about the data and how we navigate that data. So, no, I appreciate you so much, man.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, man, I'm so glad you did. I was going to ask you, any other Egyptian myths that you see? I know you said the pyramid is it's a power source. Any other ones?
There's one where they're saying that the different pyramids around the world are all connected.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard
Like
of that
the one
one?
in Mexico?
Yeah, so like there's one in China apparently, and like clearly they're all built by the same people, and they're all connected. The geomagnetic blah 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 of the planet. And okay.
Is that what made you get into Egyptology?
Absolutely not.
Pyramids and the aliens? What made you get into it, though?
Honestly, I grew up watching Indiana Jones and The Mummy. That was one of my favorite
Shut up, really?
childhood movies. I should not have been watching that as a child. Like, I watch that movie now and I'm like, ooh, who let me watch this? Who let me watch this? No, but I have it. I had it on VHS and now I have it on DVD. It's on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
Movie changed my life. And from that point on, I wanted to be an Egyptologist.
You gonna let your kids watch it?
No.
What if they want to become archaeologists?
No, go to medical school.
Well, that's all we got today.
Okay.
Chris, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll be back, right? Maybe it wasn't that hard, right? You don't know. I don't know. I'll find some more Egyptian controversy to pick your mind.
Yes,
about,
please.
because it's good because again, Egyptian studies is not my jam, guys. I love the questions. I love people hitting me up. But Egypt's not my jam. So I talk to the Chris's of this world. I pick their brain, Chris, Dr. Jansen. I'll even message Andrew.
Another one.
Because Andrew will rattle off. Sorry, Andrew's our colleague. We love Andrew.
And
He's awesome.
Andrew's mind,
Oh.
like he just, the way he absorbs things.
Yeah.
Like he'll be like, he's real humble about it.
Yeah.
He'll be like, I read this one thing and then he'll just
He rattles
verbatim.
it.
And I'm like, I wish.
He just knows it.
He just knows it.
And I'm like, man, I'm gonna be that smart one day.
Man, I wish I had a mind like that.
Got it, man. But anyway, Andrew, we love you, by the way.
Yes,
So,
we love you, Andrew.
but that's all. As with everything I'm do, guys, this is all just so you know. And I'll see y'all next time. That's a wrap.
Wow, that was fun.
Right?
That was fun.
Right?